All right, we should be live, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me over on YouTube. Again, those of you on YouTube, welcome. This is EMP.Money and our daily live AMA and Detonator rollover. So we're going to jump right in. Let me pull up Detonator. One moment. All right, here we go. Welcome, guys and gals. Thanks for bearing with me. Again, a very bloody day today. Market is bleeding out. Things are not looking good at all, both in crypto and world markets. But EMP is continuing to prove pretty resilient. I mean, we're still above peg. We dipped down below peg for a moment, literally like 10 minutes. And then we're right back up again. Detonator is still looking great. eShares had a sell-off, but that was to be expected. I mean, we were pushing all-time highs on eShares, and this is a perfect example of why we've continued to say, make sure that you mine or farm your eShare rather than buying it, because you can have some really substantial swings, and it can wreck you if you buy at the top and don't have a long time horizon to hold out for the price to recover. But even at that, I mean, we had a massive pullback, but if you look at the 1 week chart, eShares is still up like 10%. So that's just insanity. So again, everything is looking great. In my eyes, this is actually really bullish. I mean, I can say from my experience, I've made the most money as a crypto investor buying dips and buying the fear. Again, you know, when others are fearful, be greedy, and when others are greedy, be fearful. So that again is a time-tested, proven approach, and we can look at this as, you know, an opportunity, especially for those of you that maybe are looking to DCA or add to your positions. Now would be a time to do that. Again, not financial advice, but you know, historically, most money is made from buying the dips and just holding through. So I hope that helps kind of calm a lot of people's nerves. Again, our liquidity hasn't even really moved, which is an amazing sign. Again, we have over $15 million in liquidity still. You know, that is really the measuring factor of the health of the protocol. It's not really about price, it's about the ecosystem. And yeah, the TVL has dropped off dramatically, but that's because, again, EMP and eShare have dropped. So that TVL will recover incredibly fast, like to the point where, you know, it's going to melt your face off, because, you know, we can get, you know, 10 million TVL in a matter of moments once the price recovers. So again, just try to keep your emotions in check. I'm really bullish. I mean, we saw about $300,000 of bad actors and whales, you know, that had been accumulating exit over the last 24 hours, and you know, again, that's why we've seen a drop, but on top of the overall market conditions. But that's really, again, a bullish sign, because when those whales exit, that gives us all more power in the ecosystem. Those of us that are here and have a long-term vision, you know, we basically maintain or even gain our share of the protocol when these other whales exit, especially dumping eShares. Again, I mean, we saw between EMP and ETH, there was like over 300 grand in exit people exiting. So and really, again, in the grand scheme of things, we're still above peg. It's just insane. So that just goes to show how resilient we are. And it may get worse. We may go down. I know, you know, I'm a believer in psychological numbers. So we may see, you know, 35,000 BTC. We may see 2,500 Ethereum. I'm a perma bull, so I'm always optimistic on the market. I still think we're in for a summer, late summer. It's kind of been pushed off about a month now, but I still think the late summer bull run rally is still in the cards. So this is just a little blip on the radar and a great way for all of us to accumulate. So I hope that helps. Again, not financial advice, but I'm just speaking from experience and not being emotional about market conditions. And again, continue to build and move forward. So, again, that was my little rant in the beginning here. Let's go ahead and get into Detonator. We're still looking amazing. Again, 38,790 LP. Very, very healthy. For those of you that are new, Detonator is our ROI, daily ROI contract where you deposit LP tokens, you get 365% back. You're also eligible for the largest deposit bonus, which is 1% of the pool, and that's about $35,000, as well as the a random lottery winner. So as long as you're compounding or depositing new funds, you get credit in the form of tickets, and as long as you have one ticket, you can potentially win the lottery. So again, that lottery is 1% of the pool, which is just under 35,000. So another day we're giving away almost 70 grand while the market is just destroyed. So again, I'm really excited for what I'm seeing with our ecosystem overall, and we are very resilient under the circumstances. So all right, we got about 5 minutes left. Make sure you're compounding. There was some BSC congestion today, so you might need to up your gas even more than usual, and make sure you're compounding in case your transactions fail. Unfortunately, that's nothing we can control. It's just about the blockchain itself. So, all right, I'm gonna open it up. Anybody have any questions, comments before we jump in? Make it fast, and then we'll do a deep dive after the rollover.
The pullback on eShares is just a good lesson to, why I mentioned a few days ago when eShares was up 4x over the last 2 weeks, that it's probably a good idea to put back into the LP, because that's going to protect your eShare price appreciation long term. But it's also a chance to double up on your LP from the gain over on the eShare side of it. So if you haven't done that, just think on it and see if that fits into your strategy. But protecting EMP ETH LP is king, and it's going to drive the ecosystem, and it's going to make everything stronger throughout the ecosystem. Every other part is dependent upon the deepness of the liquidity on EMP ETH LP.
Absolutely, Bill. Thanks for chiming in, brother. And that's 100% true. I mean, as long as we have a focus on EMP LP, we can make it through any kind of volatility. Again, eShares are extremely valuable. I think they're undervalued, even what they are now. But remember, as eShares go down, that affects the APRs in the farms. Again, as we go below PEG or get closer to PEG, that affects the APR on nodes. So everything in the ecosystem revolves around making money together or not making money together. So that's why, again, we want to encourage everybody to be rowing the boat, so to speak, in the same direction. And even if we drop below PEG, there's still a lot of other ways to earn in the ecosystem, which no other algo project offers. So again, Detonator will be going strong no matter what the market does, no matter what the PEG is. Detonator is unaffected. Again, the dollar value might go down because ETH goes down, but as long as you're focused on accumulating your LPs, we're really healthy. So again, just remember that, food for thought. And those of you that are here for the long run and have been here for the long run, I know the majority of you understand that and have a long-term vision. And this is the opportunity to accumulate before we get to the hundreds of millions of TVL. I mean, it's only a matter of time, especially what we have rolling out. We have a massive Treasury contract coming this week, which again is just absolutely perfect timing because we're able to accumulate LPs at a much better rate. So that's super bullish, and we can build our treasury to millions and millions with what we have coming, and that will just again solidify the buybacks, the sustainability, the liquidity. I mean, it's a positive loop on the entire ecosystem once that treasury contract is live. So we'll get more info on that as we get closer. We're shooting for this week. If you're a VIP, you've had first access, but then we're going to open it up to the rest of the community as well if we don't hit our maximum raise. So, all right, we have 1 minute left. Here we go. Get ready. Make sure you're compounding. Make sure you're getting all your tickets in. And if you're a winner, please feel free to jump on. Wouldn't it be great to win 35 grand while the market is destroyed? I mean, good lord, I'd be happy with that. So yeah, we're out here, guys. We're doing big things and we're continuing to grow. So it's awesome. All right, here we go, guys. 25 seconds. Snipe came in for 43. Let's see if it holds up. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Is 43 gonna take it? Oh, 45 came in. Let's see if it goes more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Is 45 gonna take it? Holy cow. What a payday that would be.
I see an 88, but hitting.
Yep, I think 88 came in last minute. I'll have to look on chain. There was a bunch of small snipes, which is actually even more sustainable for the contract. I'll go over that in a minute, but I think, yeah, let me refresh. All right. Yeah, if somebody can look on chain and confirm, but it looks like 88 took it, which is an amazing reward for that person, but it's actually really bullish for the contract itself because, and this is something I touched on earlier on in some of our earlier AMAs, as the pool balance grows and the reward grows, it's not realistic to think that the whales are going to be able to keep up with the massive snipes. So what happens is there's a lot more volume of smaller snipes. And really, that is just as powerful as a large snipe because it creates a lot of volume. We still get all the, instant rewards. And those small snipes accumulate to, again, being sustainable and paying out that prize. So that's just, again, another amazing thing to our game theory and what has kept us looking extremely strong, even again as the market pulls back. So yeah, looking really good. 39,271 LP. Again, I think that's about 100 more than even yesterday's high. So Detonator continues to grow and look very healthy. Again, while the entire market is destroyed. So really appreciate all the support and we're continuing to grow, and the proof is in the pudding because the numbers don't lie. So again, $3.5 million in the contract, and we get to do it all over again in 24 hours. So let me know if anybody won the lottery. I'd love to hear a live winner, and we're working on some testimonials as well from a lot of our lottery winners that will be in the academy within the next week or two. So keep an eye out for those. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and.
Hey, AJ.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 88.142 was the winner, and I see somebody raise their hand. Devin raised their hand, so I unmuted them because I didn't know if they were the sniper or not. So I apologize if you are the sniper and I doxed you. But anyway, yeah, I did. I unmuted Devin. So yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, Devin, go ahead, bro. How are you? Oh, Can you unmute? Devin, you there? We're putting you on the spot, brother.
I don't see him in the chat at the moment, so maybe it
Alright.
was erroneous.
Yeah, he may be disconnected. So if you come back, Dev,
Okay.
feel free to interrupt us, and we'd love to hear from you. Again, Devin, one of our OG members. So, all right, Bull, awesome, brother. Yeah, Bull, if you can help me again with the unmuting, do your little spiel. What do you say? So people, they're gonna DM them, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So like if you raise your hand, be aware, like check your DM, because I'll let you know that I see you raising your hand and that you're next, or I'll put who who's in front of you, and then you'll know when I'll unmute you. You'll be good to go.
All right, perfect. So for those of you on YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my desktop now. So again, Detonator looking extremely healthy. We're at almost 2,000 participants, and we can see that get to 50,000, 70,000, 100,000, over the next few months and years. So again, Detonator is continuing to be our crown jewel, and this is why we're able to hold PEG so well. I mean, this is a lot of locked liquidity that's not farming, it's not diluting everybody. It's paying out, over 1% a day, or right at 1% a day. Again, we guarantee the 365%. Not necessarily 1%, but there's been many days that's over that. So again, it just depends on the volume and everybody else entering the system. So yeah, I mean we're looking extremely good. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the desktop. If anybody has any more questions about Detonator, feel free to ask as we go. But all right, give me 1 minute.
And let me just reiterate, 88 was a really good snipe, a really good gain by that sniper, and it just shows you when everybody's afraid. As AJ mentioned before, it's maybe a time to think about being a bit more aggressive, if that works for your situation.
For sure, Bull. Absolutely. So, yeah, guys. Again, this is why the game theory is just so incredible. If somebody did the 88 sniper, that's not a small amount of money for sure. But they, again, they basically 3x'd their entry into the contract. So it's very attractive for those of you that can afford it. Again, never invest more than you can afford to lose. But yeah, I mean, it's and whales are important. Again, I mean that's what gives us this daily volume. The whales that do snipe should be rewarded. And I know a lot of people say, well, they got wrecked. It's like, well, not really, because we have an amazing system that it's a lossless system, and what that means is you're getting credit for your deposit no matter what. So if you happen to be, the largest depositor winner, or you happen to be a lottery winner, that's just icing on the cake, so to speak. So again, this is an extremely unique contract that has not been done like this. We're proprietary. Detonator is a proprietary contract. That's why it is closed source. Because again, it's very, very valuable. I mean, other projects have contacted us to buy Detonator, but we feel like we have again a gem on our hands and wanted to provide the earning opportunity to all of you. So awesome. All right, I want to touch too a little bit on scammers. I know I talked about it yesterday. They are coming out of the woodwork today. I know somebody was impersonating one of our Army members, Kirk, our VIP members, Kirk. So again, never, ever, ever accept a DM, without talking to that person first. Anybody that sends you a DM out of the blue, 99.9%, they are a scammer. So again, we run contests of our own, and the community does as well. But those people that are going to message you, you're going to be aware of it in the main Telegram or the main Discord. So again, if it's something out of the blue, feel free to tag us in the Telegram and say, hey, is this really you? I want to make sure, and then go from there. Just be really smart about it. Again, scammers are relentless. Never under any circumstances give out your seed phrase or connect your wallet to a website that you're not familiar with. It's just really good practice to have. And again, if anybody has questions or is skeptical, err on the side of caution for sure. So, Bull, you want to add to that?
I was talking to somebody earlier that made a really good set of practices, right? Like it's nice to trust people, but it's better to verify. And I might have messed that up a little bit, but I like that because like we want to believe in people, and that's a good thing. However, in crypto, you're dealing with potentially life-changing money or your life savings, and so it's better to trust yourself and to verify the things that you do instead of clicking on links and trusting the wrong person. It's different if you're talking to people all the time, but even though like me and Couch might joke about it, we don't give each other we don't hand out our seed phrases, even though we're good friends and I talk to him every day, and same with Machu and stuff. But we don't, we might joke about that, but seriously, right? Don't give anybody your seed phrase, and just assume if somebody is asking you for that, it is not somebody that's from this community and they're just impersonating somebody. So make sure you trust yourself and do the verification that you need before you click on any links.
Perfect, absolutely. And make sure you have a ledger or a Treasure, some sort of hardware wallet. That really helps as well, especially if you have a lot at stake. I mean, again, most crypto I recommend should be money that again you could afford to lose. Never play with your rent money or your mortgage money. But again, I mean, some of us have been really lucky over the last few years, and maybe that small amount of money has turned into a really insane amount of money. So when that happens, again, just some other good advice is maybe split it up into multiple wallets. Again, never share your seed phrase. Make sure you have a hardware wallet. Because once you're compromised, that's it. I mean, I've gotten some messages as well from people that are in the community or in Detonator that say, my wallet was hacked. Can we migrate funds, from Detonator? It's like, I'm sorry, but no. I mean, this is crypto. This is what happens. I mean, we don't have the ability to alter addresses and move funds. I mean, once you're compromised, that's it. And again, it's heartbreaking. And but this is why crypto is immutable and trustless. It's what we signed up for. So again, I just want to take some time to talk about security and just be smart out there. And again, as you get more comfortable with DeFi, it gets a lot easier. You can smell the scams from a mile away. Just again, do your due diligence. So, all right. I mean, that's really it. We have not a lot of news. Again, the market is just looking horrible, but EMP is still resilient. We have an AMA coming up with Auto Farm. Again, another partnership we announced last week. That will be coming on Tuesday. That was a pinned message I put out today. So those of you that want to follow us over there, get ready for that on Tuesday. Again, the timing, I'll remind everybody as it gets closer. But it's a text AMA, which is a little bit different. It's a set of questions that they sent over, and then we'll respond in text. It's not a voice AMA, but for those of you that are more visual learners, it may be helpful for you to be involved with that. So we had an AMA yesterday with the DGEN protocol. That went really well. Again, some amazing guys and gals over in that group. A lot of crypto OGs, some noobs as well, but a lot of the OGs are the lurkers in the DGEN protocol, and to have us exposed to them was huge. So, and again, I touched on it a little bit earlier about our liquidity. With the pullback on ETH, and again, the market bleeding, we still have over $15 million in liquidity, which is super bullish, and the volume is looking really good. Even though there's been a lot of dumping, our daily volume has been insane for the last week. Again, I mean, we're between 500,000 and $2 million in daily volume between EMP and E-shares. That's bullish. I mean, again, whether it's swing trading or, which again we don't recommend, or just people getting in and out, taking profits responsibly or building their positions, that is a shit ton of daily volume for a project as young as we are. So again, it's all about perspective in crypto, and just make sure you guys are keeping a great perspective, especially during times like these. So, all right, I'm going to open it up to questions and comments. I'd love to hear from all of you. Yeah, go ahead,
I got one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, brother, absolutely.
Thank you. I was in the channel for Degen Protocol today, and one of their I think long-term members over there was really raving to the community there about the academy, and that he was amazed like how well done it was and how much it helped him. Like, I don't remember the exact term he used, but basically, he went from knowing nothing to knowing, just about everything he needed to know. And he was just amazed at how quick it was and how well done it was. And the fact that every project doesn't have an academy. And he said, shout out to, the people that made that. And, he gave me credit, but I said that wasn't me. But the point is all the things here are like making a difference and putting their fingerprint on like different communities. So we will have new people that come in, so always welcome them with open arms, and everybody keep doing what you're doing here, and sharing the love and the knowledge and the strategy, and just helping everybody new here to be successful.
Yep, absolutely, Bull, and it's true. I mean, again, not to toot our own horn or pat ourselves on the back, but in the grand scheme of things, the amount of effort and the simplicity of putting a academy together, I mean, it's not a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, yes, Mike and Stephanie busted their ass for 2 days, but my point to all of that is the fact that other projects don't do that. I mean, that should really say something. Like, do they really care? I mean, again, I hate to put it that bluntly, but that's really where I'm coming from. It's like, if other projects really wanted everybody to succeed, then why doesn't everybody do an academy? I mean, you can hire, somebody on Fiverr, for a couple of $1,000 to do some videos. I mean, come on, it's crazy, and we're leading the way with all of that. And it just should show all of you that, we're here for the right reasons, and we really are, leading the way and trying to educate our community and build, a foundation where we all can win, a culture, however you want to say it, a cult. Like Paul said, you can't have a culture without cult, right? So, but yeah, it's really it's inspiring to me. Again, especially during times like these where the market's down, that the community rallies and we're all in it together. So, and again, because we have such deep liquidity, if and when we do go below peg, that's all right. That's healthy. Again, don't panic and look at it as an opportunity, because you're essentially being able to buy EMP is buying ETH at a discount. So if I said to you, hey, would you like to buy Ethereum at a 10% discount off market value? Yeah, I mean, yeah, please. Yes, please. I mean, that's essentially what EMP is when we're below peg. So, again, just some food for thought. So, all right, I have a few questions on YouTube, and then I'll open it up to voice questions. So, is there any update on the Launchpad that's on the roadmap? So, yeah, for those of you that have taken the Academy, there's a video on there with our roadmap, our 1 year, our 5 year, and our 10-year plan. So the actual launchpad is probably not going to be a launchpad in the traditional sense. But we are, I mean, we're actually implementing this launchpad idea, now. And what I mean by that is, I know a lot of you have heard heard through the grapevine and on our AMAs as well. But we are launching a sister project on Pulse. And those of you that have EMP and eShare and are good actors, you'll have first access to that project on Pulse. So again, I mean, a launchpad in traditional sense, it's about having a UI, having a whitelist, and being able to invest early. We're taking that same concept and just again tailoring it a little bit different. So and then yeah, I mean the launchpad will be much more robust in the next a few months to a year when we have the new UI built out. It'll be a lot more organized, but I mean, you have access to early raises even as it is. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question about a launchpad. What else? I have one more. Yeah, all right, no problem. No, he said, did you get it? Yeah, no problem. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So yeah, we'll open it up to again verbal or Telegram or Discord as well. If there's any questions on Discord, I'll check that as well. Anybody? Don't be shy. Bull, anybody have their hands up? Questions, comments? Feel free.
Nope, nobody's raising their hand, but I could say something. I can over in the DGen protocol. People were very excited when one of their OG members brought up nodes, because some of them are mining, some of them were asking about mining, and I basically said, look, I turned off my actual GPU miners because we have nodes over here, and they're just better because with EMP being fractionalized ETH, it's a mini little miner that doesn't cost electricity, and you ROI faster. You're putting out EMP that you can pair with profits from selling eShare, put that into LP, and invest in your investment. And they were crazy for it.
For sure, man. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Again, it's great for the ecosystem, and again, when you start realizing the potential, it really has an amazing impact. So, for sure.
Cool. Dr. Money has his hand raised, so I just unmuted.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, sorry. I think I had myself muted. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, brother? Go ahead.
I'm doing good. I've been around for probably about a month or so, listening in. Been a little bit shy. I haven't said anything, but I wanted to chime in, just say thank you for the protocol. Like you were saying with Academy, I'm probably in 10 or so different projects, and this is the first time the project ever explained how to do it right. And I thought, wow, this is amazing, and just so grateful for the community. The other day, I like to talk about crypto at work. And the other day, for the first time, one of my friends reached out to me and asked me what I would do, or if I had any suggestions to invest $500 or so. So I told him, well, my favorite project's this project called EMP.Money, and I sent him the link and told him about the Academy. So I was excited. It's the first time I've got to share about the protocol with anybody. So I'm just really excited about it and thought I'd share.
Amazing, brother. No doubt. Well, we appreciate you jumping on and again sharing your journey, and that's awesome, man. I know, again, it's kind of a touchy subject when you want to recommend crypto to your friends and family, but I think that when you find the right protocol, it makes sense, and I'm honored to hear that you felt that way with us. So welcome, and I hope you're more involved. And again, we'd love to have you on the AMAs for sure, brother. So good to hear from you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Awesome, guys. All right, Bull, I don't see any other questions on Discord. Again, happy to take questions. Just fire away, guys.
AJ.
Yo, who is this?
Joe,
Joe, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I heard you went a little
Yeah,
I heard you went a little node crazy, huh? Speaking of nodes,
I
yeah, you're
I did.
getting in, man.
I got the node bug. Yeah, definitely. I started the journey in the farms as I was learning, and then the detonator really intrigued me. So once I had enough in the farms, I went heavy in the detonator, as you know. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, expanded into the protocol, and I think nodes might be not the best place to start because you've got all this EMP, and now you need to do something with it. So definitely, it's kind of like step two after you establish yourself in the farms, when you have a way to make e-shares. So then that gives you flexibility because e-shares, you can take profit, you can sell it for ETH, and then take those node rewards and make more LPs. It's a beautiful thing. So I got to the point where I had e-shares, and I said, okay, I don't want to take profit. I want to keep growing and reinvesting, keep the infinite money loop going. And that's how I got into nodes. And nodes are amazing because I said the other day in the Telegram, they breed like rabbits because as you earn EMP through the nodes and you earn through the boardroom printing, which we've had a crazy run on almost a month now, that allowed me to get my first node. I actually peeled off some of the LPs in the farms just to get enough to get that first giga. I was a little short, like 1,000 EMP. So then I didn't even think of it at first, but it's so simple and it doesn't hurt the protocol. I broke up the LPs in the farm, took the extra EMP, and then I was able to buy that giga. And then I just rolled the balance of the LP Ethereum back into the LPs. And basically, yeah, I'm at a point now where I'm collecting EMP from the boardroom, from the nodes, and just keep buying more nodes. And it obviously gets a snowball effect because each node you add on just keeps going, and then you got all this EMP that you can keep. I do two things. I pair up for more LPs with my eShares, and I use the EMP to buy more nodes. So yeah, I'm definitely node crazy.
Absolutely, brother. And you made a really good point there. I know I mentioned it yesterday as well. So starting with nodes is really probably not the ideal situation. But if you have enough fresh capital to bring in, there is no better way to build your LP than to go into nodes because, again, with the 400% ROI, you're able to really build an LP position at a lot better rate. And having that EMP work for you. And yeah, I agree. I mean, if you have enough E-shares, that's why we say to always start in the EMP LP to farm E-shares. Then you compare, those profits with the EMP that's coming from nodes. And really, like you said, snowball. I love that term. Yeah, snowball your earning potential out of it. So again, if you're new to the system and nodes might be an easy way to jump in, just realize that if you're getting into nodes simply to dump the EMP, it's not really great for the protocol. It's not great for you as the investor either because you're not making as much as you could. And again, there was also some misinformation about nodes. Nodes are not inflationary. So EMP itself is inflationary through our boardroom. I mean, this is what we talked about as a seigniorage protocol. But we control the inflation through math and through the boardroom, and do the inflation in a very mathematical way that has a lot of checks and balances. So, the typical inflation can destroy a project if there's not, this math behind it. So nodes emit EMP, but that EMP that's emitted from nodes, that's EMP that's already been allocated to the system. So again, there's a reward pool. All the purchases of nodes go into that reward pool, and that's where the EMP is then given back out from. So I know some people call it Ponzi-nomics. It's a little bit of that, but it's not a Ponzi scheme because the Treasury actually supplements those funds. So what that means, again, for specifics, is 10% of our boardroom prints, every time the boardroom prints, the Treasury gets about 30%, and 10% of that goes directly into nodes, again, to always fill that pool, so that there are rewards to be given. So, and again, this is another reason why we want to stay above PEG, because the APR and nodes have a multiplier, or an efficiency rate rather, that is affected based on how high above or below PEG we are. So, and again, that would be another reason why you wouldn't just want to jump into nodes and then dump all the EMP, because then you're essentially lowering the APR on your own nodes, which would not be smart. And our nodes have a lifespan, so after you reach that 400% APR, or ROI rather, return on your investment, that node dies, so it doesn't just continue to produce forever. And that's why, again, like Joe said, you should always be using a portion of your EMP from nodes to buy new nodes, so the system continues. So yeah, awesome, great deep dive on nodes. Anything else, Joe?
No, that's it. Just wanted to share my experience if it helped anyone out.
All right, awesome, man.
There is a node question on YouTube, AJ, right on the bottom.
Yeah, can you read it to me, Bull? I'm having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, for sure. It said, would you guys consider making nodes output eShare instead to reduce sell pressure on EMP? If you allow zap of nodes from eShare, people can still compound. Did you catch that, or do you want me to read it again?
Yeah, I caught it. But I think I'm having a hard time conceptualizing that. So
I think there's a couple questions. I'll read the first thing first.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Would you guys consider making nodes output eShare instead to reduce sell pressure on EMP?
So yeah, let me tackle that first. So we have toyed around with the idea of doing a detonator or some other kind of contract that deals specifically in eShares. But because eShare has a lifespan, meaning, there comes a point where eShare is no longer emitted, whether that's a year from now or 2 years from now. The point is that it really affects the economy a lot more than EMP would. So I mean, we definitely have some thoughts on that, and that could be a future contract. But as of right now, I mean, the only way to earn eShare is through the farm, and that's on purpose because we want to incentivize people to provide liquidity. I mean, that's the root economic of the seigniorage protocols, and it's why the eShare BNB farming rate is a little bit higher, because you're exposed to a lot more risk. So by being in that pool, you have to be rewarded more, or there's no reason to be in that pool. So again, there's really a lot behind the scenes as far as economics goes, of why we do what we do. But no, I mean, the immediate plan and nothing to change in the immediate future of rewarding eShares in another way. That the main way to earn eShare is always going to be through our farms, and again, providing the LPs. And then what was the other part, Bull?
Sure. So he did. The individual did say thank you for taking time to answer his question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna read the second part. And if 𝘠𝘩𝘢𝘅𝘐, if we don't ask it properly, could you text a little bit more clearly about what? But here we go. Would you allow zap of nodes from eShare? So to purchase it looks like to purchase a node directly from eShare with a zap function.
Yeah, so that's a good suggestion. I mean, again, I didn't even think about making that an option. That would be easier for everybody. I think we have other plans as well that may alleviate that. We plan on having nodes be part of a larger swap function. I know, again, I've talked about this in other AMAs. It's been put on the back burner a little bit until we get our Treasury contract out, but we have plans of doing an internal swap within EMP. It's almost like an over-the-counter deal, OTC. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically a way for us to swap EMP and eShare and BNB and ETH. Those would be the big four. And that doesn't show up on the market as sells. So really what it would do is it wouldn't affect the price negatively on selling EMP if the Treasury is able to buy it back. So this is something, again, it's a little bit complicated, well, a lot complicated, and requires a massive treasury. But again, that's why we're doing what we're doing by prioritizing this treasury contract, hopefully releasing this week, so that we can build a massive treasury. And once that happens, again, I mean, if we have enough liquidity, a protocol-owned liquidity in our treasury, and we can offer like the OTC deal I just said on EMP alone, then there would literally be no sell pressure on the charts, and that could really turn into something magical as far as PEG and moving forward. So that's all in the works, and that again, that plays into nodes, you know, where you could basically swap into nodes or even bonds, because bonds are very illiquid, especially you know, for below PEG. So nodes and bonds could also maybe be incorporated into that, to be able to even maybe sell nodes to other participants. I mean, there's a lot we can do. Again, we're just not at that point yet to release the info, but we are definitely talking about a lot of ideas behind the scenes. So hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense, Bull? I know it was a lot there, bro.
Yeah, it made sense to me, and then it actually answered another question that was just posed in YouTube, asking about an OTC trading desk, which I think you elaborated on a little bit there.
For sure, brother. Yeah, I know. Again, guys, I know I hate to talk about things and then, you know, not bring them up again. I know we teased the OTC deal about a month ago, but again, I mean, we have a priority list, and the number one priority is the Treasury contract, and then we have every intention of moving forward with the internal swap. And you know, we can be competitive with Pancake as far as fees, and then those fees are fees we can keep. So not only is it again bullish for the buying and selling volume, but it's also bullish because it's another revenue stream for the Treasury with fees to buy back EMP, or again bolster Detonator, bolster nodes. I mean, the Treasury is a very, very powerful tool. I know, Bull, you talk about that a lot. You want to explain why, you know, you can wield the Treasury as a weapon for good?
Yeah, absolutely. So for anybody new here, like I used to talk quite extensively about why it's of a great benefit economically to have the Treasury as a participant, because if the Treasury is a participant and you know, a partner in this ecosystem with you, instead of 100 people spending $1 for advertising, if the Treasury itself is able to spend $100, the impact of that would be much greater if needed to be advertised. Also, the Treasury being a participant in the system allows them to not have to sell EMP as a way to try to build the system, which would you know, might cause inflation. It would probably press the price down, because if they're giving EMP, if they're selling it into the system to get ETH or some other thing that they need to pay an advertiser with, it's going to push the price down, where like you'll see red candles on the chart, and it might freak people out. And then what ends up happening is I have a term that I call following like over the red candle cliff, when you see a big red candle. But because the Treasury is an equal participant in the system with every person that's in it, the Treasury is able to wield, you know, its profits more effectively than if like 100 people got together and said, hey, we're going to contact an advertiser and do this. And the Treasury itself, might have better connections, so on and so forth, to maximize that $100 as well. And there's a number of other economic principles, but I think most people get the point, so I don't want to drag on because I tend to do that too much.
No, Bull, absolutely, bro. I appreciate you. Again, you become my wingman here. You help me again catch my breath, and it's good for others to explain things in a different way, and maybe people have a better time understanding what you say and bring to the table. So I appreciate you always being here for us, and again doing a deep dive on everything. So yeah, and absolutely, Bull's 100% right. I mean, the Treasury can be very, very powerful. So the priority is again to continue to build that treasury over time, and just like building the liquidity, it really solidifies the project overall. And again, when the treasury gets big, we can use what we call hypothecation, which is where again the treasury itself is able to produce a yield. So in the beginning, we were farming a lot of our treasury over on Terra Luna, where we were getting about 20% on the treasury funds as fresh capital entering the system. So if we can continue to build a massive treasury and then use the hypothecation, which again means to basically yield farm with those funds, that is new income coming into our ecosystem without anybody having to buy anything. I mean, it's a revenue stream. So again, that's a really important concept that no other DeFi projects really have been able to do well, other than like blue chips. Luna again is a great example of that. But yeah, I mean, we have every intention of using our treasury for good, and to continue to create positive pressure on EMP, or like I said, detonator nodes, wherever it needs to go, it can be deployed. So, all right, awesome. Any other questions, comments?
Yep, there's a question here on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Bull.
So, you're welcome. What should we do with funds in the boardroom when we are below peg? Should we take our funds and start farming? ?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So if we end up going below peg, then now the boardroom will not be printing. And that basically renders your e-shares, not as they're not working for you. So it becomes very tricky though, because if you unstake your e-shares from the boardroom because they're not producing anything, you have a 30-hour, I think it's a 32-hour window. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's based, yeah, 36. Thanks, Bull. Again, guys, I have about a million numbers in my head that I get it wrong sometimes. So yeah, it's a 36-hour window that you are subject to. So if we go below peg for a short amount of time, but then we jump back up over peg, then you're kind of locked out, for those shares. So yeah, I mean, again, I would say, kind of assess the whole market, and what is happening. If it looks like we're just below peg temporarily, then leaving your shares in the in the boardroom makes sense. If not, then yeah, I mean, you can take some out and pair it up with the EMP that you already have and go into the eShare EMP farm, or bring over some BNB, pair that up and go into the eShare BNB farm. So yeah, I mean, you never just want to have your capital sitting doing nothing, but also be really careful because of that time lock mechanic with eShares. So yeah, great question, and we're happy to give more input on that if and when we get to that point. But again, PEG is still looking really healthy, even though the market is destroyed. So
I'll just chime in a little
yeah,
quick
absolutely,
here,
Bull.
AJ.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. One thing that people definitely need to look at is having a balanced strategy, because at some point the boardroom will turn off, so you do need to have production coming from like your farms, because the EMP that you have, like this individual I think is wondering too, like what do they do with that EMP? in that case, and that should always really be the same. You need to pair it up with profits from selling e-shares, because e-shares at the moment, right, they're off, they're down over the last X number of hours, but they're still up dramatically over the last 14 days. And you can take, I'm not telling you to sell all your e-shares that you have, but you can pair up some of the e-shares that you farm with EMP that you produce in the boardroom, and put it in the LP. You could take that EMP, and buy a node with it. There's a number of things that you could do that are really beneficial to helping the system and protecting your investment right now in the short term and in the long term. And they almost everything really revolves around protecting the EMP ETH LP and making the liquidity as high as possible, because I know it doesn't seem like the most profitable part of the system, but that is that is the farm that drives the profitability in every other part of the system. And it's what encourages whales to come into the system, which has made e-shares go on a run. And so we always need to be very aware of protecting that. I know a lot of people talk about protecting PEG, but it is that LP that actually protects PEG, because everything revolves around protecting that, because it drives every part of the system, just like the detonator drives money into EMP, and that already turns paper hands into diamond hands. So building that, but also more crucially is building that LP in the farm, because that's where you can produce e-shares, and you can pair it up with or sell that e-share and then pair it up with EMP that you produce in the boardroom, or that you produce from your nodes that you've purchased from EMP that you've produced in the boardroom. So just remember, whilst that APR might not look as attractive as other parts of the system, if that part isn't protected, the other parts are the boardroom will turn off, and the APRs and the other farms will go down. But if you protect that and deepen that pool, everything else grows dramatically.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And again, auto vaults play into that as well, because we have between Beefy and 𝘠𝘠𝘢𝘯𝘠, there's over $4 million in LP that's in the auto vaults, and that is yield that is being sold for EMP every single day, and again, that, every single second of every day, and that's why, again, I think we've had a lot of positive buying pressure on EMP that's kept us above PEG. And again, like Bull said, if the boardroom turns off, then then we could see a dramatic dip in e-shares. But that's when, again, like what I said earlier in this phone call or conference call, is be prepared for those opportunities, because when e-share was 3 grand, if I said, hey, would you want to load up on e-shares at 1,500 or $1,000? I mean, who would say no to that? So again, we never say ape into e-share, but if the boardroom stops printing and there's a sell-off in shares, that's a great way for a lot of you that are on the sidelines to enter into larger positions. So yeah, hopefully that helps for sure. And again, it's just another reason why we say PEG going above and below PEG really is not that big of a deal. But if anything, the big deal comes from the boardroom no longer printing. So but most of the time it's temporary. And again, we've been on the longest above PEG run in any project that I've seen, again, for how young we are as well. So it's been over a month, or going on a month. So all right, awesome. Any other? I think there's one more question. Um, was there another question on YouTube, Bull?
Let me see. Yep. So since the recommended strategy is 80% of funds in farms and 20% in boardroom, how do we stay balanced? Like, where should we move our e-share from the farms, and where should we move our EMP from the boardroom? Now I think I mentioned that, but
Yeah, I think you kind of went over all that. But yeah, I mean, the short answer is you're not supposed to be balanced. Again, I mean, the reason that you're heavily weighted in EMP LP for every reason that Bull just went over, and again, that we go over on a daily basis. You want to have the majority of your funds in the protocol in EMP LP. It's not really meant to be balanced. Now, balance, as far as I think maybe what you mean is, how do I balance, that the e-shares are paying for whatever emissions you have, and that again that goes into what we call our infinite money loop. So what you want to have is enough EMP LP in the farms that whatever your e-share production is, that matches the amount of EMP that the boardroom is giving you. So again, let me repeat that because that's really, 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 really important. If you understand this concept, you're gonna make it. So you want to make sure that your farming rewards from EMP LP, or eShare BNB LP, whatever the farming rewards on our protocol, that eShare emission matches whatever EMP is being produced from your boardroom. So with this, you can again take profits in eShare and go right into Ethereum, pair that up with the EMP from the boardroom, and go right into building your LP even farther. So it's a positive feedback loop, and ideally you would even want to have more eShare production from the farms, because then you can sell a little bit of that eShare for pure profit. Again, and today's a great example of that. I mean, if you're selling, say you sold 10% of your eShare emissions over the last month, you would have a giant bag of stables to be able to DCA when EMP dips. So again, those are just all. You should have a plan. You should have a strategy. If you have to write it down, I mean, that's all part of good investing. So that's something I would, again, not financial advice, but just take all that into consideration.
So I would define balanced as not having assets sitting around earning zero. So that, right, all of these farms have ROI, and if you have something sitting in your wallet idle, that's unbalanced, and meaning you need to put it into action somewhere, and so it doesn't have really much to do with a percentage. It has more of the idea that you keep your money moving, especially in a system that is paying you daily interest. So but obviously the strategy should revolve heavily around that EMP ETH LP farm, because you can make e-shares from that, but ultimately it's the biggest driver in the system, right? It's basically the engine of the car, where EMP is the gas, and that LP is the car that's driving around, making you your paycheck.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's my pet peeve. I told someone the other day how much I hate idle rewards. I said they're essentially employees sleeping on the job, meaning they're costing you money and opportunity costs. So yeah, definitely figure out a strategy to get those idle rewards to work.
For sure.
I'll tell, excuse me, the only time I keep something idle is it's actually in the boardroom, and it's a matter of keeping the timers off, because if I think eShare gets to a point of where so for instance, if I farm quite a bit of eShare, if eShare gets to a price of where I think it's a good point to sell it and take profit, I'm more than happy to do that. And I sold eShare around 16 or 1700, some stuff that I had farmed. Now, sure, it's 2800 or whatever it went up to, but the point is that went back into a little bit of stable, because I was concerned about the overall crypto market, and knowing, listening to Lunas always talk about his stables has really kind of encouraged me to up my stables a little bit more. But the point is that profit from eShare goes back into EMP ETH LP, because ultimately I know that, like I said, that's the engine for this system, and it's ultimately what's going to drive this project forward and protect it and grow it, and all of the other parts of the ecosystem really revolve around that. And so, we should all do what we can to protect that and grow our own LP, and stop looking really kind of at the dollar value, but just increasing your units.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, I'm guilty of this. Again, I get caught up in the min-maxing of, like Bill said, not letting your capital sit idle, because ideally you want to have, your capital working for you. But stables are a different animal. I think, again, it's really healthy, to always have, a portion of your overall portfolio in stables. And, if they're not earning for you, or they're earning, really low amounts in a trusted protocol, 5-10% APR, I mean, that's fine, because you need to have that dry powder, in case something happens. I mean, again, the markets are so unpredictable, we're still so early, that there could be some dramatic swings, and it's just good to be prepared for all that. And that's a lesson I'm trying to teach myself. I mean, again, I'm all about, trying to make the most, but I do need to get better about having more stables, on the side to protect, the overall portfolio. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, I think that was it. Is that it, Bull? I can't really see. I checking Discord. I don't see any
Yeah,
other. Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's everything, buddy.
Okay.
I think there was a lot of information here, even though this was going to be another short one. So,
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, guys. Again, I mean, I'm happy to go longer as long as we're having a very productive chat. And again, today was another one. I mean, this is why we do the daily AMAs. This is why, I'm devoted. Because again, I think we help everybody learn and earn together, through these conversations. So, yeah. And tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be available yet. That's still up in the air. I know somebody from the team will be, so I'll let you guys know. Just keep an eye out for the link on Telegram and on YouTube if we are gonna go live. But there will be an AMA. I just don't know if I'm gonna be available tomorrow. I will be available the rest of this week. Um, and I think Crypto Mike is gonna start doing Tuesdays. And Lunas has been amazing, doing, I think it's uh, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He does an earlier AMA session, for those of you that are in the European time zones. And again, we haven't forgotten about that either. I know there was some discussion of moving, the detonator rollover around. That is going to be up for discussion again, after we're done with this Treasury contract. But we think we have some other plans and ideas that, would be even more beneficial than moving, the rollover time. So again, that's on the radar. We're always big on transparency and being a men of our word, so to speak. So anything that we say we're looking into, or plan on doing, know that we still are. It's just, the development cycle takes a long time. Um, again, Jake has been nonstop. We did bring on, a new, front end development team. We are hiring, which is amazing. We're growing our contractors. So again, that's to work on the UI. But again, for any of the heavy lifting, we are very careful on who we allow to be involved in that. And Jake is still, the number one guy on all that for security purposes, and for competency purposes, because we would never want to, jeopardize, the protocol because of hiring a new dev or, anything like that. So again, as we grow, that will happen, but they will be vetted, and we can again, expand on, the development process. We have again, tools in place to make sure that happens. So yeah, the front end is probably going to be another 3 weeks sooner, hopefully, but no promises. And after that and the Treasury contract, we can move on to the other things I discussed. Again, the OTC swap and detonator add-ons as well. So, all right, I think that wraps it up. Again, thanks for helping me be the co-pilot, Bull. You're always here to help. Anything else you want to add, Bull, before we wrap it up?
No, I'm the Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson, so
yeah, brother.
let's keep the late night show rolling.
For sure, bro. Absolutely. So, all right, thanks, guys and gals. Appreciate you being here. We do it all over again tomorrow. Again, hopefully the market will recover a little bit. I'm a perma bull, so I still think that this is just a short-term blip, and that we're gonna see another little bull run later this summer. But who knows? We could be in for some more red. So just be prepared. So, all right. Appreciate all of you. Again, EMP continues to crush it, and that's because of all of you that show up every day. And again, have a long-term vision in the protocol. So, all right. Good night. Good day. We'll see you tomorrow.